Hey, it's Tanya with Tanya Made Life here, back at you saying first, Happy New Year to you. And then the other thing, as you can tell by the title, yes, y'all, I have decided after praying about it, thinking about it, researching, and to take my doctor's recommendation to get some help with this weight problem and try one of the GLP-1 drugs. Yes, y'all. I am, after so many years of, fooling around with this weight, just not really seeing the results that I want to see. I've taken my doctor's advice and I'm in the process of going through the onboarding for one of the GLP-1 weight loss drugs. How did I get here? Great question. So I think last year I posted I had a weight loss coach, and I think I lost about, probably about 15 pounds, not quite 20. I was doing real well until I wasn't. I learned a lot. A lot of it, like most of us, we kind of know what we need to eat. We have some general ideas about that. It's the day-to-day sticking to it thing that kind of causes us a problem sometimes. And with me, I did a lot of kind of thinking about it. And when I would talk to my coach, one of the things that I have to recognize, my lifestyle that I've gotten used to is not a lifestyle that is good for, it's out of balance. It's out of balance. And a lot of it has to do with my little entrepreneurial endeavors and always sitting down at the computer. I work on computers for work, and then I always have something to do for my business ventures that I'm working on. And the other side, I enjoy doing it. It's creative, it's fun. Probably more than anything else, I like creating, and I do that sitting at the computer. And so added into that, a lot of times you get up and I'll be cleaning up the house or whatever. And then, I get my back I have some recurrent back issues going on. My back will start to ache. And so when I take a break, I sit at the computer and I start creating something. And then it's been 4 hours and I'm still sitting there. So there's that angle. I can cook. It's not one of my, if I had to pick my favorite things to do, cooking would probably, it may be like number 5 down on the list. So it's a lot of lifestyle factors that I recognize are kind of hindering me and causing me some problems. Things like, one of the things I learned that when I was losing weight, I had a system. It meant I had to go to the grocery store. I had to cook. I had to, I had to go to bed on time so I could get up in time to fix my lunch on time. I initially said, okay, I'm a meal prep on Sundays. Stuff could happen, family stuff or whatever, and I didn't get to do that. It's like, it was kind of like what I learned, a perfect series of events had to happen for me to do what I needed to do that would equal weight loss. And I could lose if I do all of those 5 things. But if something happened, whether, I'm going to be out of town this weekend because I'm taking, niece and nephew, somebody back to college, that meant I don't go to the grocery store. That meant I don't meal prep on Sunday. So then what? So that's kind of a challenge that, that I learned. It's like, if all the perfect series of things don't happen, then I kind of am thrown into this spiral of, okay, I haven't eaten all day. It's 4:30. I'm leaving work. I'm hungry. I don't feel like going to the grocery store. Even if I did go to the grocery store, I don't feel like cooking nothing. So, I'm going to eat something And that's one thing my mama used to say this, and I finally get it. You let yourself get too hungry. She would always say that, and I was like, what? But it's true. I've learned also when I get hungry, it's harder to make a wise food choice, especially here where I live, which is not in a place like in LA. Prayers to everyone in the Los Angeles area, those who've lost loved ones, who've lost homes, just heartbreaking, heartbreaking. We're praying and we're believing God to bless California with some rain. It's just devastating. And if you follow me, Southern California is like my favorite place to go in America. I just love it. So it's doubly heartbreaking. And I have friends who live out there. So it's, very, very heartbreaking. One of the reasons that I love it so much is that when I go out there, they have all these fast, casual, healthy food places, options. I mean, just tons of them. Whether one of my favorites is called Lemonade, and they've got all these vegetable side dishes and salads and lean protein. They've got beverages that aren't loaded with all the sugar. All that is just kind of readily available in a way that it's not where I live. And so you have to, it's not impossible, but you have to work a little harder. And especially in my city, a lot of where the vegan and healthier options, they're not out here in the suburbs where I am. They're kind of going to be in the cool, hip, midtown, downtown area, which is, a long way from me. And so there's that angle. And so that's kind of something that, I know I'm trying to kind of work through that, because that's still, even on the GLP-1, I'm still going to have to make those changes. I'm still going to have to fight those fights. My big idea behind it, because I've been, my doctor, my doctor, and I've had the same primary care doctor for 20 years. And we've been, watching my, keeping up with my weight. She, hey, you're going up, hey, your cholesterol's elevated and A1C is elevated. And, in the past, I know when I first kind of hit 300 pounds, and yes, I weigh a lot, but I am 5'8" though, but still I don't need to weigh that much. And I'm not muscular, but I'm very solid, very solid. But when I first hit that weight, and I was like, oh no. And I joined the gym, started exercising, and, got back down. But I just didn't stay, down. It inched up again, and kind of I'm way over that now. And so a lot of my thought was, I was like, no, I'm not, before people were doing all kind of weight loss shots, the, fin. And I was like, no, just no. And, I know when the surgery came out, and I remember some years ago when I went on an appointment, and I was shocked when my doctor suggested that I consider it. I'm like, what? Oh no. And I think what was going behind that was pride. It was pride that, I can do this on my own. I don't need to take a quote shortcut. And so that was kind of my thought when these came out, when these drugs came out. I was like, no, that's a shortcut. You're going to probably a bunch of side effects, and they really don't know what all they are and all of that. And it just was a thing where I should just be able to do this on my own. I should just be able to just, stop, just control what you put in your mouth. I should be able to do that, right? And so it's a little bit more complex than that. I think having the weight loss coach last year, helped me to kind of look at it from a different way. On the surface, it's still true. You would think that we human beings will have more control over what we put in our mouth, but there's so many drivers behind that, and then I'm at the age where definitely hormones are coming into play as well. No excuses, just facts. So I was like, you know what? When my doctor suggested, actually it was funny how that happened. my mom has the same primary care doctor. And so I was taking my mom, who's 81, in relatively good health for her age. I was there with her on a physical, and my mom had picked up a few pounds. Not a whole lot, but she picked up a few. And my mom is nowhere near my size. She wears like a 16. So she picked up a few pounds, and I don't know how the conversation came up, but I was in the room and she looked at me, she said, you really ought to consider, one of the GLP-1 drugs. And I was like, no, but I said this, I said, you know what? My physical is in December. So this was September or so. And I said, if I have not lost weight and I'm not on the road to do it by the time I come back from my physical, I will consider them. So that's what I told her in September. So meanwhile, even with the best intentions, I think when I went and had my physical, I was probably up even a few pounds over what I was in September. And I was like, you know what? You're going to have to humble yourself and accept the help. But just have a plan with it. You're not going to be on these forever. You're going to be on them for the minimum amount of time. You're not trying to turn into a size 8. I never want to be that small. The smallest I can see myself being is a 14. I was, that's the size I was when I graduated from high school. To me, I don't need to be, I think I wasn't even a 8. I don't even remember. I may have been a size 8 in the second grade, and I've been 5'8" since 6th grade. So yeah, we're not trying to do that, but we definitely need to get the weight down. The biggest thing for me, I do have sleep apnea. I've had it for a while. I've had a CPAP for a while, but it is just really starting to get on my nerves. I have to travel with it, and I have a travel one and all of that, and I've gotten used to it. And I don't have, mine is moderate. It's not bad. I don't have to wear the mask that covers your nose and mouth. I just got the little thing, but still, I was like, man, I just think about so much of my life has been impacted by the weight, and y'all know I like to go. And a lot of places I want to go where they got a lot of skinny people. And their infrastructure is really not set up for us American Southern people. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, you know what? Go in with the plan. Take them, do what you're supposed to do. If they could get me, like, I think when I got on the scale last time, I was at 341. Last year, I was down to 315. So I inched back up. And I was like, you know what? If you could get down under 300 pounds, which you have not been there, oh my gosh, you have not been there probably since like 2005 or 6. So that would, my expectation is less weight on my joints for walking and things like that. Although I don't have knee issues now. I don't have ankle issues. The only thing I really have to work around, I used to work at a job and picking up heavy boxes, and I kind of hurt myself back when I was in my young 20s. So I do have some intermittent back things going on. But other than that, I was like, if you get the weight down, then it'll be, you'll have more energy for doing the exercise part. So that's kind of my high level goal, is just to try to get me, I feel like if I could get down to, lose about 50 pounds, that would give me the energy, and I could be able to become a little bit more, walk more, do more exercise to kind of keep the train going. There's that angle. The other side I thought about, it's one thing in knowing, hey, you don't need to eat that cookie or that piece of cake. You don't need to eat those rolls, yeast rolls. You had one, don't have any more. But it's kind of like, I kind of see the GLP-1s is kind of being that stick out there. This, like, it's one thing of, hey, you don't need to eat it, but you also know ain't nothing really immediately gonna happen if you do eat it. So sometimes you're like, I just eat it anyway, because I just kind of want it. But reading some of the videos about the intestinal, side effects, the nausea of all that, if you eat foods that, from what I can tell, that are, too much sugar, too high in fat, all of those things, hey, you're going to have some immediate effects. And just the idea, and I don't like I don't really have diarrhea and nausea and all those kind of things routinely ever. So I don't want to have them either. And so I feel like the mental knowing that, hey, you don't need to do that because there's going to kind of be some immediate discomfort there. It will give me enough time eating this new way for it to become a habit. That's kind of my thinking. May not play out like that, but that's kind of what I'm thinking for. That's kind of my plan about how I'm approaching it. I prayed about it, and when I prayed about it, and I thought about it. How is this drug different than the Advil you take, or the ibuprofen when your back is acting up, or which Aleve when you used to have cramps and all those other type of things? You kind of had to trust God, pray and ask the Lord to bless it, that it would work and that you wouldn't have side effects, just like when we got those COVID shots. You really have to pray and just trust God, and I haven't had any side effects from them. So that's kind of my approach. It'll be real interesting to see. I don't know which one I'm getting. It's a structured program, I will say. My my company and our health program has this kind of structured program that is good because they're not just giving you shots. I mean, and I told the girl, because it's very much it's education. It's, you got, I think I have a medical coach, medical doctor, but then I also have a weight loss coach. So it's not, they are very much, okay, we may recommend the medication, but we want to make sure you understand the lifestyle stuff. And I did I said, most of that stuff I already know because I had the coach last year. So I think that's good. It's supervised. They check blood work. And I had just had my physical. So I had a lot, I had some recent blood work. But they were like, no, we need a complete metabolic panel, I think is what they call it, where they looked at all these factors. And I was like, wow, I'm not diabetic. I'm not diabetic by the grace of God. Truly, by the grace of God. I'm not diabetic, but when I was looking over the numbers, I am kind of pre-diabetic, which I think I've been there before, but I was, through moderating exercise, I was able to kind of come back down. And my cholesterol, the highest it's ever been. But I do know also, one thing I remember doing, I've eaten a whole lot of red meat this year, and a lot of that came from when I was on my kind of keto lean program. I guess I'm gonna have to expand my protein options. I don't really eat pork. The only thing I will eat bacon. But I don't eat really any other kind of pork. I don't eat pork chops. I don't eat pork, but I eat bacon every now and then, and I eat honey baked ham at Christmas. That's about all. But I need to kind of expand my lean protein options because I know that cholesterol, I ate a whole lot of meat because I would have, I would eat, in my brain, chicken and beef. Those are the two options. And so, so I'm kind of going to try to limit that because, for cholesterol. So it's other things out there. But like I said, if I could get down under 300 pounds, get some energy going, really get on a good walking routine, be able to, my goal would get off the CPAP, kick the sleep apnea, get off blood pressure medicine, which I was on water pills. I've been on them for years. I've never had anything else but the water pills to kind of keep it controlled. But it was a little bit elevated when I had my physical this year. So in other words, my numbers are going in the wrong way. Everything was going in the wrong way. So I was like, you know what? Put the pride down, get you some help. On top of that, I have a church member who I saw, and she's shorter than me. She's probably like 5'1", something like that. And I was like, sister, you losing weight. And when I talked to her, and we are probably about the same age, she may be a year or so older than me. And she was like, yeah, I lost 60 pounds. I've been getting, she said, which one of the GLPs? I'm like, really? I'm like, whoa. Then I have another church member who is diabetic, and she takes it for her A1C. So yeah, that's kind of how I got here. I'm definitely going to be documenting the journey, the good, bad, the good, the less good, because I'm not claiming bad or ugly. Yeah, I was like, man, my perfect size is probably like a 16, so it's like if I could kind of use this to kind of get me started and to just be on it long enough to kind of, because like I think they say if you do anything I've heard everything from 2 weeks to 30 days, it becomes a habit. And that's kind of what I need to form, some new habits, because I got some bad habits, lifestyle habits that don't make for weight loss and good health. So that's kind of where I am. That's how I got here. Yeah, and I'm just believing God that it's going to work well for me. And I'll be in a different space about it. So yeah, that's how I got here. And like I said, I know still gonna have to tackle the other issues. You still got to tackle those lifestyle issues, but kind of having, I guess I call the GLP the big stick. That big stick out there, I think it'll give me a little extra motivation to make sure I stay on track. So that's my story. I'll be posting as I move forward in the journey. Thank you for listening. If by chance you have also been on a GLP-1 journey, I'd love to hear in the comments which one you're taking, how's it working, what are the things I need to know before I get started, what are some things that have helped you, what are some tips and tricks and best practices and all of those, even recipes that you have that have kind of helped you. I would really appreciate it. I truly would appreciate it. So thanks for listening. Until next time. Bye-bye.